Calculating child support in North Carolina. Let's talk about how to calculate child support in North Carolina. North Carolina has implemented the North Carolina Child Support Guidelines. If you'd like to take a look at the guidelines, go to the North Carolina Division of Human Services website. Then you can find all of the applicable worksheets and the child support guidelines themselves. First, you have to decide which worksheet is appropriate based on the circumstances. If one parent has primary custody and the other parent has secondary custody, then you are going to use Worksheet A. Worksheet A assumes that the primary custodial parent has more than 243 overnights with the children each year. If the parents have shared physical custody, meaning that the primary custodial parent has less than 243 overnights per year, then you're going to use Worksheet B. Worksheet C is intended to be used when the parents have split custody. In other words, we have multiple children and one or more of the children live with parent A and one or more of the children live with parent B. Once you determine which of the child support worksheets is applicable to your particular situation, you then put the gross monthly income of the parties into the child support calculator. North Carolina child support is based on something called the income shares model. And what we do under the income shares model is we add the combined gross monthly income of the parties, and then that tells us what the monthly child support obligation is for both parents. Then that number is multiplied by the percentage of income for each parent. For example, if one parent earns 60% of the combined gross monthly income, then they are going to pay 60% of the monthly child support obligation. Conversely, if the other parent earns 40% of the combined gross monthly income, then they are responsible for 40% of the monthly child support obligation. The North Carolina Child Support Guidelines also take into consideration other factors such as the cost of health insurance. Specifically, the guidelines are going to take into consideration the cost that is directly attributable to the children's portion of the health insurance. The guidelines also take into consideration the cost of work-related child care and extraordinary expenses. A good example of an extraordinary expense would be private school tuition. Once you enter in all the data and the fields on the child support worksheet are complete, it will then tell you the respective child support obligations of each parent. It is important to remember that the child support guidelines do not apply to every situation. For example, when dealing with high-income parties, the guidelines do not apply. If the combined gross monthly income of the parties exceeds $40,000 per month or $480,000 per year, the child support guidelines do not apply. It is very important to remember that when dealing with high-income parents.